The men and moments that made the Minnesota Twins the Big 50. Number 48, Al Worthington. Originally signed out of the University of Alabama by the Cubs in 1951, Al Worthington made his major league debut with the Giants in 1953 and amazingly pitched shutouts in each of his first two starts. He cooled down after that, finishing his rookie season at 4-8 with a 3.44 ERA and 102 innings. Worthington spent most of 1954 and all of 1955 pitching in the minors and returned to the Giants rotation with a 7-14 record and a 3.97 ERA across 166 innings in 1956. He spent the next two seasons bouncing back and forth between the Giants rotation and bullpen, and then posted a 3.68 ERA in 73 innings when they decided to use Worthington almost exclusively as a reliever in 1959. Just before the start of the 1960 season, San Francisco traded the then 31-year-old Worthington to Boston for light-hitting first baseman Jim Marshall. Worthington struggled with the Red Sox and was dealt to the White Sox that September. He lasted just 4 games in Chicago before leaving because he claimed they stole signs from teams and, as a devout Christian, he was morally opposed. As a show of appreciation, the White Sox felt he could use some time in the minor leagues. He threw a no-hitter while pitching for San Diego in the PCL in 1961, and then went 15-4 with a 2.94 ERA for Indianapolis of the American Association in '62. According to a New York Times article in September of '62, then Mets scout and Hall of Fame second baseman Rogers Hornsby identified Worthington as the minor leaguer most deserving of a shot in the majors, and the Mets purchased his contract. Sure enough, he returned to the majors in '63, but it wasn't with New York. Cincinnati snatched him up in the Rule 5 draft and watched as Worthington went 4-4 with 10 saves and a 2.99 ERA in 81 innings out of the bullpen. In a series of events that summed up Worthington's career to that point, he got off to a slow start in '64, and the Reds gave up on him just after 7 bad innings. They first sent him to AAA and then sold his contract to the Twins in June. Worthington was 35 years old and had been deemed washed up by seemingly every other team in baseball, but he immediately stepped in as the Twins' relief ace. Worthington made his Twins debut in relief of starter Dick Stigman against those sign-stealing White Sox on June 28, 1964. Coming into a tie game with 1 out and the bases loaded in the 6th inning, he got out of the jam unscathed and then tossed 3 more scoreless innings to earn the win when Zoyler Versailles, Harmon Killebrew, and Bob Allison each homered off Chicago reliever Eddie Fisher late in the game. Despite not joining the Twins until 3 months into the season, Worthington threw 72 innings with a 1.37 ERA and team-high 14 saves. Decades later, no pitcher in Twins history has thrown more innings in a season with a lower ERA. He followed that up with 21 saves and a 2.13 ERA in 80 innings to help lead the Twins to the World Series in 1965 and pitched 4 scoreless innings against the Dodgers. He was then one of baseball's elite relievers from 1966 to 1968, with ERAs of 2.46, 2.84, and 2.71, while saving 16, 16, and 18 games in those 3 seasons. Worthington gave up closer duties in 1969 at age 40, stepping aside in favor of Ron Peronsky and serving as a middle reliever in what would be his final season. Worthington retired with a 2.62 ERA, 37 wins, and 88 saves in 473 career innings for the Twins, including a great 5-year run as a closer. His save totals aren't nearly as gaudy as those put up by modern one-inning closers today, but they're equally impressive considering the context. Not only did his 18 saves in 1968 lead the league, he ranked among the AL's top 10 in saves and games finished in each of those 5 years. Among all MLB pitchers, only Ted Abernathy had more saves than Worthington during that 5-year span. For whatever reason, the Twins have likely had more than their fair share of top closers since 1961, from Peronsky, Mike Marshall, and Jeff Reardon, to Rick Aguilera, Eddie Guardado, Joe Nathan, and Glenn Perkins. You wouldn't necessarily know it based on his save totals, because he pitched before the dawn of modern closer usage. But Worthington leads off that list, and the remarkable manner in which he ended up closing games in Minnesota is one of the more interesting career paths in team history. Al Worthington, number 48 in the Minnesota Twins' Big 50.